Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Carver Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 6, 2024. This meeting is being cablecast by Area 58 Community Access Media, Channel 15, and will be posted by Area 58 on YouTube as soon as possible. Our agenda tonight is pretty light, very light actually. So we'll go right into our agenda, and the first item up under discussions and business is an order of conditions extension for DEP file SE 126623.
We brought the spotlight.
Yeah. It's an interrogation.
I don't know, there's only one. Do you want to like sit over next to Ashley and face everybody? It's probably a little bit better.
Yeah, wherever you want. We just
Yeah, I mean that way. That way we don't get your your head.
Okay, perfect. So, good evening. For the record, Sarah Stearns with Fields and Thomas. As the chair mentioned, I'm here tonight on behalf of the proponent, BERE LLC, who received an order of conditions from this commission in 2021 for the Rocky Maple Solar Project, DEP file number 126623. As the commission is probably familiar with the same discussion for a number of renewable projects, there has been a continued delay with the Eversource group study for this region, so all of these projects have been delayed subsequently, so the project has not been able to begin. This project, as some of you may know, is also under appeal under a separate portion of it in a different community, so there are multiple delays for this project in particular that have not allowed it to begin. So we're here tonight to request a 3-year extension to the order of conditions so that there's ample time to continue the process and begin construction if and when that study is complete.
All right, so that would be until May 19th, 2027?
Yes.
Okay. I know no work is being done, but is there any kind of conversations with Eversource about hooking up to kind of...
They can't do anything until that study is
Can't
done.
even talk about
Because
it.
it's all about the interconnection.
Yeah. But I
and
know
it's
that
just-
takes a long time.
It's just not, the capacity has not been fully studied yet.
Oh, because of the appeal.
Nope, just the group study for this region is not complete yet,
Oh,
so
okay.
nothing's moving forward in
So
this
this is the
area.
same situation we had last meeting with was it last meeting or the meeting before?
Similar. So this has a little added thing of, it's one solar array that's in 2 towns.
Okay.
And we said okay, and Wareham did not. So the Wareham decision is being appealed.
Okay.
And actually, we're about, what, 10, 15% maybe in Carver?
Yeah, it's a small portion on the Carver side.
Yeah, just one little corner is in Carver. The bulk of it is in Wareham. So, I mean, it wouldn't happen without Wareham.
Including the access and interconnection in Wareham. Yeah.
Right. So,
So they simply just have to polls and then get Wareham to agree to do it, right? Or however it is. Is that not? Is it not that simple?
It's not that simple. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, basically it was Wareham's Conservation Commission, right?
Correct,
That
yeah.
said no.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's mostly the holdup, though, right? Is that
That's one of the factors. The appeal now has gone through many levels of the process. It's currently with the Office of Dispute Resolution at the state level.
Okay.
But as equally as delaying is the Eversource group study. Really nothing can happen until that is complete.
Did Eversource, have they given you any kind of time estimate, or is this like when we're done?
I don't really get the level of detail. My clients, the developers, are interacting with them directly, so I sort of get bits and pieces of it. And it seems that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's really, in terms of timing, we're really not sure. No, it could be months, it could be a year. We really don't know.
Okay.
They are working on it, and it really affects everybody in this region, so it's certainly a priority. The state has made it a priority to continue these studies and keep momentum going, but it's just taken a long time, longer than I think anticipated years ago.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else have any questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to grant the extension to Rocky Maple Solar Project, DEP 126623.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Carl made the motion, Dave seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. You're all set.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
See you at the next extension.
3 years from now.
I hope not. It might be.
Okay. All right, next up, 187 Meadow Street discussion. Did you hear from Meadow Street? Yep. Oh, when Sarah has... Okay, do you want to take a seat up here, or are you fine right where you are? Okay. All right. So we asked you in because of the work that was done, the filling in that was done on the cranberry bog on Meadow Street. And I know you've been before us on a number of different times trying to do different things to try to squeeze a house in here and there. And we went by and we've seen that there has been a lot of soil pushed in. The irrigation canals on the south side have been filled in. And I want to know what your plan is and why you think that what you're doing is okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing is okay. We gained access to the property. We're just trying to make it a viable time. We didn't push anything into the bog. We just took the strippings off the top to gain access. That's all. We didn't fill anything.
Satellite photos tell a different story.
But you can show them to me because I know the ground.
Savory, can I say something?
Yes.
All right. DP wrote, Derek sent an email from Brandon Costa dated January 29, 2024. At the bottom of the email, he says, existing conditions of the site indicate the activities have since gone beyond the scope of these exempt activities. As a result, the work is now subject to review by the local Conservation Commission. I encourage you to work with Gary Flaherty for a solution that works for both you and the Commission. In the meantime, I would recommend halting work until both the work conducted and the remaining work are put on a plan and accompanying an application.
That's what we did.
I don't think we've never seen an application.
We stopped work.
Right,
That's what we did.
right.
You want an application, we'll give you an application.
Because what DEP and what we're looking for is to restore it the way it was.
You want to put all that dirt back on
We
the
want to put
bog?
all that dirt back in.
You want me to push all that dirt back on the bog?
Yes, sir?
I'll do it. Okay? Good. Thank you, guys.
Okay. And also the irrigation ditch on the south side has to be reinstated.
Sure.
All right?
You want me to put it back the way it was?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's not farmable. You're going to stop me from farming that land?
It was farmable at one point, the
That's
way
right.
it was.
Roger farmed that land.
Okay. If you have a plan to make it farmable that does not reduce the size of the wetlands or does not significantly alter the irrigation around that, come back to us.
That's right. That's what we have on the ground today. We have a workable farm on the ground today.
Excuse me, sir, but it doesn't look like that.
That's the same piece of ground.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
but-
it is, but you pushed on the east side of the property,
We put access, we put an access.
You pushed you got about 70 feet of soil pushed up, so it's now upland. You filled wetland.
You filled wetland to make your access road.
Well, you don't know that because our botanist isn't here. He'll be in about an hour. Gary, I know on record, you said that that was a swamp. Did you do any?
I said it was a wetland cranberry.
You said it was a
bog.
swamp on TV that I watched.
Well,
You said
okay.
we filled the swamp.
Right.
I did test holes there. I know what I'm doing. That's an old bog. That's Roger's old
A
bog.
bog is a wetland, falls into swamp.
Oh, a bog's a swamp now?
Yeah, they're,
So, okay, as long as that's on record, I'm good with that.
okay.
Okay?
They're all the same resource area.
And is there water flowing through there? You also said there's water flowing from...
Through all those ditches that are shown in the aerial, yes.
The only water is in the bog ditches, not around the outside edge. Nothing travels from outwards.
You have to realize, through me, we were shut down last spring by DEP.
Well, who is?
The commission was. I put a cease and desist on the property.
You put a cease and desist on my
Yes.
property?
I did, yeah, okay? Well, I think it was last March. I've got it all written down.
How come I don't know that?
I spoke with Derek.
I'm not the owner. He's the owner.
I know that, but you were the contact at the time.
Okay, so let's not...
Hold on, let me finish. All the
Let you finish.
emails with DEP say Derek,
That's fine.
all right?
That's fine. He can speak to me. That's fine.
Mr. Chairman, for clarification, I was just asking DEP their opinion on any bog,
Okay.
whatever it is. And their opinion was, as long as you have water withdrawal permits, which he had, and as long as you're planning on replanting the bog, this and that, it was okay. Then somehow they got wind that we were filling in, bringing dirt into the bog, which is not true. And I spoke with DEP last week, Brandon Costa, and he said he was misled. So he said, just go back to the Concom and try to resolve this. I'm just trying to help my brother out, that's all.
No, I understand that, but what does the letter from Brian Costa say? Did they not
Right.
observe it?
Yes, he said he was mad, he was lied to, and I'll put that in the record, okay? He said he would like to see it, since we're their eyes and their enforcement, they want it put back the way it was. We're doing this because DEP is asking us to do it.
DEP gave you guys the approval and the authority to overlook this project. That's what his letter said. That's what we're here tonight. You
Yes.
folks have the power to do what you gotta do.
Right, we know that.
So then leave DEP out.
No. This email that directs us to work with you to fix it is from DEP. We work, in a sense, for DEP.
That's not what that letter says. He's telling you folks that you're the locals here,
That's
you
correct.
have the authority.
Right.
And that's what I'm here tonight, to see if we can solve this tonight. You want me to put all that dirt back on that bog? Nothing came off that site. Nothing hit Meadow Street. Not an ounce of dirt left Meadow Street.
Right.
Everything was used there. Guys in town and guys in my town, they make corners straight. They use their fillings to make the roads wider. It's a common practice. For some reason, and I apologize, that we might have put the cart before the horse with that house plan. It's what we do in our business. We survey, we do perk tests, we do developmental plans. That came before you, and I think that's our sticking area here. We're not planning on doing that here.
I would say no. As far as I'm concerned, I would say that's not the case.
Okay, that's fine.
The concern that I have is the fact that it seems as though dirt has been pushed onto the bog. The irrigation ditches are eliminated on the south side. Yes, you are correct that cranberry growers square off their corners. And what they do is if they encroach into a wetland, they replicate it somewhere else, the same amount of space.
I'm not against that. First of all, we didn't push any dirt on the bog. We took dirt off the bog.
How did the
It came from the bog to the edge, just like everybody does. Just like when we bring our spoils to the edge, and we can still move them off, we've got to get them to the edge so you can move them off. If you're asking us to replicate some wetlands, we do have some land along the backside, along those back houses. We can clear all those trees, and we can put wetlands along that road. We do have the room. Don't want to do it, don't want to spend the money, don't want to ruin the land. It's set up perfectly the way it is now. for the next farmer to go there. It may be him, it may be somebody else.
Okay, that's all fine and good, but
Okay.
coming to us or us having to contact you after this has happened is not the right way to do it. Speaking about cart before the horse, you should have come in with a notice of intent plan of what you wanted to do with this property, including filling in or dragging the dirt, widening the access road. That's all part of what a notice of intent is, because it touched the wetlands.
I get it. I'll do that. But has everybody else in Carver done that? I know of at least 12 projects that's out there, that the guys are stripping bogs, bringing the strippers to the end, doing the same, and this is where I get emotional, because they're doing the same thing I'm doing. Have all them did an OI, if they do it, I'll do it. If everybody in town is rebuilding bogs, it has to go through that process, I'll do it too.
We had
Okay.
Mr. Hanulin in here 2 weeks ago,
I saw him on TV.
and he basically told us what he was doing because we called him in, and he told us where he was
So you
replicating.
called me and I'm telling you.
All right, so we need to see a plan where you're going to replicate. Whatever,
Does he have a plan where he's gonna replicate?
he showed us where we went on a site visit, he showed us where he's going
Where
to.
he's gonna build a bar close to the Sampson's Pond and build a
Yes.
lower road. It's the same, I saw the meeting, and when I looked at it, I said, it's the same thing I'm doing, except, just to the south side instead of the north side. And I think that you folks maybe looked at this wrong a while ago, or that you have some sort of preconceptions about what we're doing. We're just trying to bring back some farmland. Gary, hang on just a second.
All right.
We're just trying to bring back some farmland here. That's it. And if
But it
if
has to
needs-
be wetland. It can't be farmland. You can't change wetland to farmland. It has to be wetlands.
If you want me to say that I'm building wetlands, I'll say it.
Well,
As long as you're building it.
that-
Well, how can we fix this?
we can fix it by us giving you an order of conditions of what this has to be when you're done.
What do you want it to be?
We want it to be the same square feet of wetlands with wetlands characteristics, with the flora that grows in wetlands.
So I think we should postpone this meeting till our botanist gets here. He did some studies early on. Let's let him give you his opinion on what was there when Roger passed and we bought it.
A botanist isn't going to help as much as a soil.
He's a soil guy.
That's a soil site, yeah. He's already done all the soil samples.
So if we could just...
And is it all wetlands?
He says it isn't.
He says it
He
isn't.
says it is not.
We've done test holes there. We'll invite you out for a test hole. Roger pushed off the sand, put down a layer of black stuff, and put sand on top of the line there.
All right, well, we have, as part of our bylaw, we have the option to request a second opinion, being paid for by the owner, the property owner. And I think we should do that.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's in the bylaw.
Okay.
So I think we should do that. Do we have a name, Carrie, of someone that we can contact?
I know some folks that.
All right, so.
How about our guy, who's already done it?
Yeah, he's a look from Carver, Steve Chanel.
Okay,
But,
he's the first opinion. We'll get a second one.
yeah, I guess the question is, so if it comes back as, I guess the discussion would be over if it comes back as upland soils. Then this discussion's over. Or
Possibly.
if we're willing to bring it back to bog, then we're trying to give you what you want anyways.
Right, but it's got to be established that it's an upland bog, all the way throughout. There has to be,
Well, wherever it is, it is. Uplands is upland, wetlands is wetlands.
I think that's the smartest way to go here.
okay.
Well, you got to remember, the key sentence from DEP is, "The activities have since gone beyond the scope of exempt activities." So you're not exempt.
If you want, I'll grab my paperwork from
Not
DEP.
now.
Well, I think that if we're gonna have dueling paperwork, it has to be done by date, which,
Yeah.
because the most recent supersedes whatever came before it.
No, that's not true, because the DEP changed their
Why is that not
opinion.
true?
Because he changed his opinion. His opinion back then was one thing, now it's something else. So.
From DEP?
Yes.
Yes, because his opinion was, this is what you told him you were going to do. He drove by it and saw that's not what you did, and he changed his mind.
He also said we
Not
filled the whole
opinion,
place.
he changed his mind.
He also said we filled the whole place, which we didn't. All we did was strip the soil off the top, just like every cranberry grower who's rebuilding bogs today. And guys, I don't want to fight with you.
Okay.
You know, I appreciate you volunteering and doing this type of work. I'd like to get to the end of this, but I want to be treated fairly.
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yes.
There was a bog right down the street from us that was stripped, dig roads, this and that. I got a hold of your public request department, and there had been zero conversation with this board, this commission, and that gentleman. So it sounds like he's being treated unfairly, and that's kind of, we're a little...
Did they change the footprint
Of course
of
they
it?
did, yes, of course they did. All bog guys do it. They cut a road in, they gotta get rid of the material somewhere, so you don't just stockpile it back. Sometimes you make your road a little wider, and then you make a new ditch, things like that. And, I mean, I got 92 pages from your public records, Ms. Sheehan, of different ones that have happened, never gone in front of this Michelle, this person.
All right, well,
What do you think, David?
No, I said, what are you gonna do with this property?
I just want to put it back into agriculture.
The agriculture being, like wetlands, I mean, the way.
Why not? I mean, if you're, whatever.
Do you want it to be,
use-
do you
Is it
want
gonna be a
to
bunch of
grow
cranberry
cranberries
beds?
again?
Sure.
It's gonna be back to another cranberry bog.
Why not?
It has,
No houses.
But if we establish that if you establish that it's not, it's up to the bog, or, then,
I don't have to come back, right?
right, so why don't, that'd be the first step, right? Is to-
Yeah.
Is to
well,
get a
there
second
might be,
opinion.
there might be buffers from across the street, but that particular part of the property, yes.
What about buffers for the neighbors out back? They have no buffers? I mean, we're 20 feet.
We're not talking about the neighbors, we're talking about you right now. Right now, let's just focus on your property. We'll work with the neighbors later. We're just talking about you.
What was your question, though, about the neighbors?
If you're going to keep me away from the wetlands, I mean, what about their future activities in their property? Do they have to stay away from my wetlands?
The people behind you with the
Yeah,
house?
yeah.
Yes, of course they do.
Yeah, right.
They have to follow the same rules as
They maintain
everybody.
their driveway all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things to be considered there. We're sharing a unique piece of property, and I don't want to be singled out here.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
And I think that Gary and myself got off on the wrong foot. I've had some heated discussions with him to the point where I thought I was going to get a restraining order against him. And trying to help out this whole situation. I'm not the landowner, but I'm trying to help out. And I just feel that maybe we need someone else to orchestrate. I've called your office 2 or 3 times and never got a call back I've called the building department, asking me to call me back because I was having problems with Gary. And to the point,
Asking me to call you back?
yes, because
Okay.
I assume you would be his boss or whatever, or the commissioner's boss.
No, not
But
at all.
He must work for somebody.
He works for the town planner.
Okay, so, he works for the town planner, but he's
Yes, he
contract-
does.
So then I guess I should have called him down.
Yeah.
But
That's-
it got to
that's
the
the
point
hierarchy,
where,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I work for Bob Fennessy.
I was gonna say, probably town
Okay,
administrator.
I work directly for the,
so I guess I should have called back.
We're a volunteer board. We have no
No, I
one that
understand
works
that.
for anybody.
Yeah.
But you guys have the power.
now, one thing, you did tell me in the phone that your brother owned the right-of-way to Meadow Street.
Address the chair, I don't want
All right.
to really discuss it with you.
He told me in the phone, and I put it in writing, that his brother owns the right-of-way to Meadow Street. And I was trespassing, standing in the right-of-way on Meadow Street. That's when he started getting mad at me.
The right of way on Meadow Street.
Yes, he said his brother owns the right-of-way to Meadow
That
Street.
is not true.
And I was standing on it, and I was
You're standing on Meadow
trespassing.
Street.
He's standing on Meadow
The
Street.
town owns 10 feet on either
I
side.
understand that. That's what I told him, but he was still agitated.
But don't get to tell him what happened before that, but that's okay.
All right, I
Well, you
mean,
told me
that's
you
not,
had cancer,
let's all
what's
like
your-
Hearsay, that's not, yes.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. We've all been by the property, and it looks as though things have been bulldozed into what was a former irrigation ditch. And it's sloped, it's at a...
We do it all the time.
a
When we're
ramp.
squaring off bugs, we do it all the time. When roads are too narrow, we make them wider with the strip-ins.
All right.
The slows go to the edge.
It didn't look like it was more than a road, though, to me.
Yeah, it was
I'd never seen it
60
before.
or 70 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, we can cut the road down, it didn't need to be that wide, but that's the, that's the material that came off the bog, that's the volume of material. Now, if you think that we need to chip some of it off, then I'm willing to work with you on that. Maybe, but that's the volume of material, that came off the surface of the bog. One machine took it off and put it to the side, just like everybody strips bog,
Okay.
okay?
Well, I think.
That was filled.
So the next thing we did file an NOI, haven't been filed an NOI?
No, the next thing is to get a second opinion on the wetlands.
So if this is
And
truly
let's
a wetland.
determine whether it's a wetland, an upland or a wetland bog.
I mean, isn't that really the best course of action?
I think so.
I'm the newest one here, but like, it
No,
sounds
that's-
like we need
that's
to
perfect.
first identify if it's an upland or
Right.
wetlands.
I think so.
And if it's upland, maybe we don't even need to go through all this.
Right, I think so.
Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
And historically, I think you knew Roger from before. Did you tell me you knew Roger?
A little bit.
When we talked about that, he talked about how he used to get water from LSD Atwood.
Yep, across the street.
And they asked him for $100 a year for a permit, and he refused to pay it. And they shut off those canals on him that used to feed him after they flooded. So there's no water going from LSD Atwood property through ours to the river. So that, don't try not to connect that water situation. It's all by itself. They filled in the flumes, they cut that off.
Well, it's really more soil samples, et cetera, and, the peat layer and what was there that determines what is a wetland or an upland bog. So I think that we should get a second opinion, get another person in
Sure,
here
we'll dig some holes
to
out there.
do some bores and see what, there's a consensus.
And so nothing has been disturbed under the surface, just the vegetative mat has been taken
Yep.
off, or the roots?
Yep.
So it's all virgin there, there's nothing.
Yeah, I can tell that. I can
So
see
all that material is scraped off the,
Yep.
this is an older air photo, right?
Oh, yeah.
So all that stuff that you made that's 70-foot wide,
Storage area,
that came right off directly, right?
that's right.
Right
It
up-
started from one end and we worked it right up to the other.
And you just push it up into that.
Well, we lift it with an excavator and
Right.
as we strip the bog and the roots and
Right.
things, move them over to the side. So that's where they sit today. At some point, Eric maybe showed me a letter that said that I should stop. That's what I did.
Okay.
So that's where it is today. Whether we can move some more off, or whether I gotta clear the whole back section in front of those folks' house to make more wetlands, we'll work on that later. But let's do some soil samples, which we already have.
Right.
This fella, he's flying in from Long Island. But it's gonna be later, so I don't wanna keep you folks tonight. But can we reschedule it for another discussion?
We can, but the first thing we have to do is get a second opinion, second person out there to do soil samples. And those results have to come in before it makes any sense to have another meeting.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so they'll contact me since I'm paying the guy?
So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that, and I'll be there.
And we'll pass the consultant by you and make sure that's okay for a consultant.
Right, he'll need my permission to go on the land.
Yes.
I'll meet him there. We'll do our holes together. Maybe somebody can come if you guys are
All
available.
right, yeah, we'll know about it. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because then we all know what's going on.
Okay,
Thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate your help.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Is the school day today?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to the minutes in a second. Next up on the agenda is 276 Meadow Street, continued public hearing, but I believe it's being continued again.
Yes, it is, yeah. You've got the email in your packet. Yeah. And I'll just let them know the date changed.
Yes, it's April 10th.
Right.
Yeah.
Calendar-wise, they're correct, but we changed.
Yes, but we're probably are at risk of a quorum on April 3rd,
Yeah.
because we'll have two members missing. The chair and the vice chair will both be
I'll
missing.
let them know.
When's the meeting?
We think
When
it's
did it come again?
The 10th.
The 10th.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, unless we come in April 10th.
Okay.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Yes. Anyone have any questions, concerns, corrections on the minutes?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Carl made the motion, Dave seconded to approve the minutes of February 7th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved unanimously. For things that were not anticipated prior to tonight's meeting, there are a couple of things. There is property on the corner of Rochester Road and the Pine Street that's in Middleborough, not the Pine Street in Carver. It's right by the new bridge. It's Foley Farms. And I think you were probably on the board when we went out there a few years ago with Brooke. They were going to, it's where they were taking all the vegetation off the side, backhill and taking sand out. Then they were going to revegetate it. But on the far side, more towards Middleborough, they were going to build some houses on a slope heading down into the river.
I might not have been here, but...
Okay, all right. Well, then anyway, I'm the only one.
So what's going on with it?
They have done a lot of pushing of soil, of all things, into the wetland area on the west side of their cranberry bog.
Okay.
And they've got some, it looks like concrete conduit, stacks of concrete conduit.
Yes, yeah,
And,
it is, yep.
and a shed. They put a shed there, and it looks to me as though it's certainly within the wetlands buffer zone. And I don't believe it was part of their original plan when they came to us in the first place. I've asked Gary to get the plan out, but if you get a chance, just drive by and take a look. It's easier to see going towards Middleborough.
Yeah.
It's on Rochester?
It's on Rochester just before it ends on your way to Middleborough.
You'll see the bridge abutments, the
Yep.
new guardrails.
The new bridge.
It's right before the new bridge on the left, heading out of, Carver.
Out of Carver.
Into Middleborough, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it, and
You can't miss
there's
it.
fresh dirt, and then as you go over the bridge, you'll see that all the area behind that fresh dirt is wet.
Okay.
So, and a second thing that's come up just in the last day or two, you probably have noticed that there is construction going on the corner of Lakeview Street
Yes.
and South Main Street.
I did not notice that.
Those
I
are,
was just there, I didn't see any
The first
construction.
one.
Well, they dug a hole.
there are
I didn't see that yet.
yeah, there are three building lots that have been carved out of both upland and cranberry bogs. The wetland scientists that the developer employed determined that they were upland bogs. And because of that, the building permit was signed off on. We did not have a meeting with them. They did not come in because they felt they didn't have to, and just through a little bit of oversight, the building permit was signed. So they're going ahead with that. The corner of their house is about 80 feet away from the corner of the bog. And I went back and looked at aerial photography from the early 1960s, and there were two bogs there, which leads me to believe that they were wetland. It looks like they've been reconfigured.
Okay.
So it could be that portions of that existing bog is wetlands and other parts aren't. There are some cranberry bogs up on Forest Street that half are wetlands and half are upland. And there's a pretty clear delineation. You can see what it is. So what we've done is we've asked the builder to come in with an after-the-fact NOI on that property. I don't know when he's going to be here. He has to notify the butters, et cetera. So it probably won't be the next meeting. It might be it might be the early April one. However, there are two more lots that haven't been touched yet, and other than the furthest south lot, which abuts a riverfront, which has a 200-foot buffer zone, the other one falls into probably the same type of category that their designer thought that being a a upland bog that they can do whatever they want. There's no buffer zone.
Right.
However, in our bylaws, under what is and is not allowed, there is a particular bylaw that states that residential buildings need a variance to go within 100 feet of a cranberry bog.
Whether it's upland or...
It says cranberry bog.
Okay.
It does not delineate. So the house, the hole that's being dug now really should have had an NOI for a variance.
Right.
And the next two are going to need to have an NOI. I asked Bob Fennessy I wrote up something to ask legal counsel if what I believe to be true, that because Carver's bylaw is more stringent than the state wetlands bylaws that ours takes precedent, we can make our rules stronger.
Yes.
We can make them weaker. But my feeling is that, and this bylaw has been on the books for at least 10 years. It's not something we just came up with.
Right.
So it's there for a reason. And I think that whoever did their homework for this developer just missed it. And, or just made an assumption that because it was upland, it didn't count. But it does not say upland or wetland. It says cranberry bog. And that's what those are. And the other question I asked on the same lots, since those lots, in order to meet the minimum lot size, since those lots now are carved into part of that cranberry bog, and those three properties have been taken out of 61A agricultural delineation, zoning,
Yeah.
does that mean that they now lose their cranberry or their grower's exemption, their agricultural exemption, because the property is no longer zoned agricultural? So,
Did they take the whole bog out of the 61A or just the portion that they're building the houses on?
For I understand, they worked out some deals that
With
they
the-
could still,
with the owner.
remember when they came out to the meeting for when they were going to put housing on there,
Right.
lower income housing on there, where they came up with some deal where they were going to let the bog operators still use it as a cranberry bog.
It's
It was
written, yeah,
strange.
somehow
It was
it's
very
written,
odd.
it's written into the deed, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
It's
very,
like an easement type of
it was a
thing.
very
Yeah,
strange sort of
where they
situation.
have to pay the tax, the
Yeah,
homeowner
I don't
doesn't have to pay the
know. You're right.
taxes on it.
But then they changed the plan for those houses. They're not going to be duplexes anymore.
Right,
They're gonna
no.
be big,
These are gonna be big-
single-family,
these are gonna be
yeah, so they
single-family
had
homes.
changed.
right, but the question remains, because they've taken them out of 61A, which is the agricultural zoning, do they lose the agricultural
That's a
exemption?
valid question.
That's a great point.
And, I don't know the answer to that. We generally, we look for two criteria to grant exemptions. One is the 61A designation of that property. The other is a USDA farm plan. And the farm plan has to be owned by, I believe, the owner of the property.
Right.
So if these people are building a house,
Yeah.
they need a farm plan for that portion of the cranberry bog that is now theirs. So I have a question I wrote to Bob Fennessy yesterday.
So there's two issues legally with that.
There are two questions.
Possibly.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for a reply back from legal counsel on what
Yeah,
I think.
I saw the email.
I think
It's a good question.
I think the one about the cranberry bog and 100-foot variance is the stronger of the two arguments.
I think so too.
So,
Yep.
So, but to be consistent with these guys that we just talked about on 187 Meadow, I mean, should we make this landowner also get a second opinion of whether that's an upland bog or not?
it's definitely going to happen. When they come in, and if they still claim that it's an upland bog,
Right.
I will have, not only does the 1962 aerial photos show the cranberry bogs, the two bogs, so does the USGS map. It shows that there are bogs there.
Right.
Which
Strong evidence.
is pretty strong evidence that they're wetland bogs.
But they weren't as big, so they may be...
They weren't as big.
Right, so they may be, right.
But
How does it work, though, if it's partial wetland,
well, what's going to happen is they're going to have to do bores everywhere until they find out the outline,
the old bog?
and then do the buffer zone
But
from that.
on those heritage maps, the one you get them online, it shows the old bog.
Yeah.
It has a little blob on there.
Yeah.
Within the existing
Right,
bog.
but-
So
but
those are probably old bogs. But
They probably are.
Yeah.
But whoever's doing the test bores has to find where
Where the edges.
the edge is,
Right.
all the way around, or at least on the side facing the
Basically,
homes.
where the house lots are.
So-
They've got homework.
So
Yeah.
now, is there a stop
Is there a
order on
stop
these
order?
guys?
That's what I.
No, he's proceeding at his own risk on the first lot.
The builder.
Because
He knows.
he knows that, yes. I was here questioning it with the building commissioner when the developer walked in.
Oh,
And so we talked about it.
That's bad timing.
so he,
It was good timing.
so is he gonna stop or is he
No,
gonna continue?
he's continuing, he's gonna work, but he knows he's going to do an after-the-fact NOI, he knows he has to do that.
And he agreed to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I asked them to, meaning Brady is gonna be his consultant, I asked them to, pick up the actual edges of the bog, not just a ghost line.
Right.
What do you mean?
If you look in the plan for the house,
Right.
or for the septic system, they have a little ghost line and they say, approximate edge of bog.
Oh, approximate, okay.
So I said, find the Pharrell one
Right.
when you come to us, so.
An NOI, since you're all here from school, an NOI is a notice of intent, and that basically is someone coming to our board saying, we want to do this, it encroaches into the wetlands, we need your permission to do this. So it's a notice of intent, or this is what I intend to do. So that's why, and we have to either approve it or deny it. So,
And sometimes people do things without an NOI, and then.
As you kind of
You
witnessed
just already
earlier.
witnessed.
They want forgiveness.
And they don't like getting caught.
no, and a lot of what comes before us is reported to us by people in town who see things that they don't think that is right. We don't have the manpower or the enforcement to go out and look at everything that's being done in town. I mean, this gentleman before brought up other bog owners that do the same thing. If he wants to make sure that everyone plays in the same way, then he's got to go find those people and come back to us and say, well, they're doing it and they're doing it. Then we bring them in as well. But for the most part, the cranberry growers who have been here for a long time understand how we work, and they're very good stewards of our land and our wetlands, and they know that if they remove part of the wetlands, they have to replicate it somewhere else on their property, so that we don't lose any square feet of what's there. So, all right. Anybody have anything else? All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Carl with the motion, Dave with the second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're done. Thank you, guys.
Good job being quiet.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
That's it.